Next lecture, customize VoiceOver for faster and easier testing. Hello again. Today I thought I would show you what kind of settings I edit on the VoiceOver utility before I start auditing a website, or if I get a new computer. I just like some things different and it makes me better at auditing websites. And this is just the settings I prefer. But before that, real quick, please consider supporting me on Patreon. My Patreons get benefits such as my free accessibility courses, free accessibility lessons, and the more members I have on Patreon, the more motivated I am to keep creating accessible accessibility content. I also have a Udemy account and I have best-selling accessibility courses on the topics of ARIA, WCAG, creating accessible websites, VoiceOver, screen reader, and so on. All right, let's get back to the video. Of course, everyone has their own preference when it comes to their screen reader, all right? So the first thing I do when I get VoiceOver is, all right, so first I need to tell you about the VoiceOver utility. This is the command base for VoiceOver. All kinds of settings is in the VoiceOver utility, right? And the way to find the VoiceOver utility, you have a few options. You can go to System Settings, Accessibility, VoiceOver, and open VoiceOver utility, okay? You can also, if you have VoiceOver on, you can also press the VO key function F8. Now what I like to do is I like to keep the VoiceOver utility in my dock. So I do right click on the VoiceOver utility options, keep in dock. Because if you are a tester, you're gonna be living in the VoiceOver utility. I have to open it so many times a day. It's not even funny. So the first thing I do is I go to a General, which is the first tab clicked, and I uncheck display welcome dialog when VoiceOver starts, right? So this is checked by default, but since I already know how VoiceOver works, I just uncheck it. So that's step one. Now let's go to verbosity. Now what verbosity means, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, is the quality or state of being verbose or wordy, the use of too many words. For example, let's say you're calling your friend and you're asking, hey, how's your day? And your friend responds to, and your friends respond to, yeah, my day's going good. How's your day? But if your friend responds to, oh yeah, my day was wonderful. I woke up at 6 a.m. I saw the sunrise. I watched some Sailor Moon. It's just been a really good day so far. How are you? See, that's verbose. Now, when it comes to screen readers, verbosity, what it means is how wordy a screen reader is, right? How much information you get. So what I like to do is when I'm testing, I like to put the default speech verbosity to high. I want to make sure that everything developers have added is announced. For example, ARIA described by is only announced if the speech verbosity is high. So I tend to let it as high, and then another thing I want to show you is, yeah, so we have it high, for example, especially if you're a developer and you're creating widgets with ARIA, you always want the default speech verbosity to be high because you want all ARIA attributes to be announced. So this is another thing to look out for. If you're a developer and your widget is not working, it's not being announced as expected, check if the verbosity is high, okay? Because if the verbosity is low, it's only going to announce the accessible name mostly on almost every single widget, right? But if the verbosity is high, it's going to announce different things, okay? Now, another thing I want to do is I go to hints and I uncheck speak instructions for using the item in the VoiceOver cursor. This what it does is when you focus a button, usually VoiceOver says press Control Option spacebar to activate. But if you are an experienced VoiceOver user, this just gets so annoying having to hear it every single time. So I uncheck it. Now, another thing I like to do is I actually want to go back General. I actually want to go back to System Settings, Accessibility, and I want to go to Spoken Content. And I want to uncheck Speak Item under the pointer, okay? Because otherwise VoiceOver will talk every time my mouse is over a button or a control. VoiceOver is going to say button, window, the name of the button, and it's just very annoying. Now, this is very useful if you are blind and you are in a setting or you've opened a new program and you don't know where anything is. So it's very useful for your mouse to just look around, quote unquote, with your mouse, and then having VoiceOver to announce everything to you, so you can kind of figure out where things are. Okay. Now let's go back to the VoiceOver utility, and then let's go to announcements, and then I'm going to uncheck announce when mouse cursor enters a window. So that's unchecked because I just, every time the mouse cursor enters the window, it's going to announce it, and that's just annoying. All right. Now, the next thing I want to go is go to speech, and I'm going to go to the primary voice. I like Samantha, so I'm going to leave it at that, but I'm just going to increase the rate to 60.
55, 50, 45, 65, 60.
Now, I usually like to have it higher than that, like 65, 70, or 80, but because I'm making this course, I want to keep it slow so that, especially since most of my students English is their second language, I would like things to be slower. And also I think, teaching slower is also teaching better. Okay. So yeah, that's what we're doing. As when I'm auditing though, I have it really, really quick. Okay. Now, mute speech, of course, I'm going to uncheck it big, but I'm going to show you later how we can create a hotkey to mute speech, so we don't have to open VoiceOver Utility every time I want to mute the speech. All right. All right. Now let's go to navigation, and in navigation, I'm going to press mouse pointer, ignore VoiceOver cursor, because otherwise the mouse pointer will go to every single button or text that's selected by the VoiceOver cursor. The mouse will go on it, and it's just really annoying. All right, now we want to go to web. We're going to go to general, and we're going to uncheck automatically speak the web page. Whenever I'm editing a website, I just want to test a few things. I don't want it to automatically speak the entire web page. And if you want the entire web page to be spoken, you either leave that checked, or when you enter a website, you can just press VO key and A, and that reads the web page. All right. Now, I want to show you a bonus thing, which is the trackpad. You can also control VoiceOver with your keyboard, but if you have a trackpad, you can also enable or disable it to be controlled. Now, if you enable the trackpad controlling and you want to mute the speech, you can just double tap with 3 fingers, so that's really useful. Now, I leave that up to you. I haven't delved deeper into the trackpad on macOS yet. All right. Now, another thing I want to show you is the mute speech. Okay, so this is something that happens all the time. Like, I will be auditing, and then I would have to press control all the time. So when VoiceOver is auditing something and it says a phrase, for example, heading level 1, and it says the name of the heading, and you press control, VoiceOver stops talking. But the next time you press tab or you press the arrow keys, VoiceOver starts talking again. Or sometimes VoiceOver will talk for no reason at all. I mean, I guess it's just bored. So what I had to do is I had to constantly press the control key. And I spent hours looking for a way that I can create a shortcut hotkey so that I can use it while I'm auditing. And I finally found it. So I'm going to show you how it happens. So if you go to commands, first thing you want to do is you want to check option key. What this happens is it activates the option key for to be used, and I want this to be the right option key, right? That means if I press the right option key, things are going to happen, but you need that to be enabled first, okay? Then you go to the command set, you click the edit button, and in the search bar, in the search bar, type mute speech toggle. You press the mute speech toggle, and as you can see, the 3-finger double tap is enabled. So if I have the trackpad commander on, I can mute it with the 3-finger double tap. Or you can add your own custom hotkey, and this is what I did. I added option M to be my mute key, right? And it's very easy. You just press press the plus button, option key, and then you choose your letters, symbols. It's really easy, and I'm going to show you how it works, and then press done. And yeah, I think those are all the shortcuts I use. Of course, it's very important that you restart VoiceOver after you enable all of them. I'm going to show you how the mute speech works really quickly, and then that'll be the end of the video. Now what I want to do is I want to focus the heading element. And to do that, I'm going to press Command H.
Heading level 1. Master the art of fencing.
And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to press Control to stop talking.
Heading level 2. Why choose?
There we go. I have focused the next heading, but then I press the Control key and it stopped working. Now if I start, now I'm going to start to navigate via the arrow keys.
We combine traditional techniques with
See, it started talking again. So what I want to do is if I keep browsing it, it will keep talking.
Heading level, learn from Olymp. Heading level 3, master epee, foil, and saber with specialized training program. Heading level 3, competitive success.
All right, so it seems now if I wanted to mute it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the right option and I'm going to press M.
Speech muted.
There we go. See how it is? So yeah, that's the tutorial for now. Hey, thank you for watching. I have a bunch of accessibility courses at accessibilityacademy.com. Send me an email at steph@stephanienewman.com. Support me on Patreon and subscribe to the channel and like this video. Okay, bye.